We're here at the North Cypress Lake non-motorized trail parking area in Holly Springs National Forest. This trail is a loop trail. It's about 3 miles long, I think. The trailhead, one direction of the trail starts that way, directly ahead there, and then the other direction continues over here through this picnic area before going around the lake. And the lake itself, the upstream end of the lake, is right down here. We're going to walk across the dam in a little bit. So the trail, after leaving the parking lot, just crosses here through the picnic area, and then comes out into this day use area on this other side. There's more picnic sites. Looks like they've been cutting down a bunch of trees recently. And it crosses the road and then continue on the trail this way. The trail parallels the entrance road for, I don't know, probably a quarter mile or less before turning down into the forest. So as we continue on the trail along the, or I should say to the north of the lake, we're going through this area that was burned a few years ago by the Forest Service to control fuels. We see that the trail is marked by these white blazes that are nailed to trees. And we're continuing down this small hill. Here at the bottom of the hill, we've reached this small stream that's completely dry. Just a footbridge across it. And we come over here and we start to enter this area that's all these pine trees that have been planted here. So we're about 3/4 of a mile into the hike and we've reached the dam here, and this is North Cypress Lake. Just a little bit of a breeze out here, but it's a nice day. It's about 72 degrees. It's January 12th, 2017, so pretty warm. And the trail continues across the dam and then around the lake, up the hills on the other side, and then back to the trailhead in about 2.5 to 3 miles from now. We are now on the south side of the dam, and there's the lake once again. The trailhead is pretty much straight ahead. You can barely see the parking lot there. A little strip of rocks in the distance. And then the trail is going to continue this way up through the forest. The trail's continuing up this hill here, and I see they've come through with, it looks like a bobcat, and just plow all the leaves out of the way so you can see where the trail is pretty clearly. So we've now entered a bit of a clearing here, and the fantastic method of trail maintenance that is just bulldozing everything here, which I'm not a fan of, continues in this direction. But in this direction we see what looks like the trail, because we see the culvert and a path and the white blaze in the distance. So it's a little hard to tell which way to actually go here. So I ended up following the bulldoze path instead, because based on the last time I was here, which is over a year ago, when this wasn't bulldozed, I kind of remember following this path and seeing all this flagging, this orange flagging in the trees along the path. So I've decided to continue this way, and this looks pretty familiar, although it's not that great of a trail actually. It's just a bulldozed path through the trees now. This section of the trail has actually been kind of unpleasant because it's pretty muddy since they just plowed everything out of the way, and it's just bare ground now. But the trail gets better. Up the hill a ways, we follow an old road for the part of the way, which is gravel, and then I actually think we follow what might be an old road the whole way back, but it's definitely a wider path. This is about 1.5 miles into the hike, and we've walked up this hill here, which is on the south side of the lake. And I think we continue along this ridge for a ways until we get to the old road that I talked about. At least the trail's not as muddy now as it was down lower. Okay, we came up this trail along the ridge for about 1/3 of a mile, and now we've reached this junction with this old road. I'm not sure what's that way, but I know the loop trail continues in this direction to the right, which is westward. There aren't any maps of this trail I could actually find, but I'll put my track on all trails so you can see that. So after just a short distance on that section of the trail, we reached what is like the first sign of an actual trail since near the trailhead. But this is the road I was talking about that's no longer used as a road for the public, I believe. And the trail actually continues further west on this section of the road because it goes uphill, I think. After 1/3 of a mile on the road, we reach this point where the road continues straight, and then the trail continues to the right. And this sign taken down, in white blazes. I think this might be the highest point on the trail. As we're getting closer to the trailhead here, probably about 1/4 of a mile, trails back here in the lowland areas. And we're coming up on another bridge across the stream, the main stream that feeds into the lake. And we're back at the trailhead. That was a 3.3 mile hike. Took just about an hour, right at an hour of time, or 50 minutes walking, an hour and 2 minutes total time. So it was a pretty nice short hike.